What's up, guys? I'm back with you again, and it's time for, I guess, the first deck discussion. And this is actually a fun deck that I thought of. It's combining two decks that I'd seen, and just looking to mix them up a bit, I guess, if that makes sense. So the first one I saw was really cool thing where it's about Swallow's Nest Harpies. Okay, so Swallow's Nest Harpies is a really cool idea because basically it can shift momentum, especially when you're up against stuff like Shadows or just a lot of special summon heavy decks. Like, the best time is when they're using like Soul Charge. Swallow's Nest, basically what you're gonna do with it is if you have just any of your wing beasts on board, you basically go to Swallow's Nest and then straight into Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. So your opponent goes for a big push, and basically this is just a one card, simple play that can be easily done because you have so many wing beasts to choose from, and it basically just shuts down a soul charge. It shuts down so much of your opponent's deck, and it's just really nifty. But I thought, that's really gimmicky and that's great, but what I kind of want was a bit more strength in the deck, because I want to be able to punch through walls, so I need a bit more power in the deck. And I thought, how am I going to be able to get this? And then I saw another video which looked at the idea of magical hats, where basically you have one monster on the field, then you just get Hysteric Sign and Gear Town, and you're basically set, because basically what that's going to do is, at the end, it's going to give you ridiculous plus, to be honest. You get 3 Harpie cards to your hand, and then you get a free Gadgetron Dragon from anywhere, because it's hand, deck, or graveyard. So, it doesn't matter if you dead draw into the Gadgetron Dragon, it's not a dead draw. The only dead draw really in this deck is Pet Dragon. You don't exactly want to draw into this, because it's really hard to get out of your hand, and so it can be a bit of a bother if you draw it early. Basically, you just want to get it out with Channeler, so the sooner you can get Channeler, the better. So let's just go over the deck really quickly. So we've got one Gadgetron Dragon, one Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds, one Cyber Harpie, 3 Chancellor, 3 Dancer, 2 Harpie Lady 1, 3 Harpie Queen, 1 Harpie's Pet Dragon. So that's the monsters, there's only 15 of them. We run 1 Elegant Egotist, 2 Forbidden Lance, double Gear Town, 3 Harpie's Hunting Ground, 3 Hysteric Sign, 2 Instant Fusion, 2 Swallow's Nest, not triple, double Breakthrough Skill, triple Hysteric Party, double Icarus Attack, and triple Magical Hats. We'll get to the XYZs later. Let's just go over the monsters. So Gadgetron Dragon, it's a nice beater. The fact that spells and traps can't do shit to it is also really nice, so Deep Prison can just go suck it. It's a really handy card just to give me a bit of momentum. Like, when I do the Magical Hats play early, basically just gives me a bit of time as well. So my opponent has to, focus focus on getting rid of Gadgetron Dragon before they can focus on my other Harpies. So it's nice. It's a 3000 beater. So anyway, Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds, the next one, it's really good. Basically just completely locks out your opponent from special summoning sometimes, and if they don't have a card to stop Swallow's Nest, like say Warning or Advice or any crap like that, then it's putting him in a really bad position. And especially early game, if you're up against Shadows and they drop like all the monsters in their hand, go for their Midrash or their Nephilim or their Sheikah Ninja or their Crystal, I don't really care which one you want to choose, man. If you don't have a wind attribute on one, then out comes this guy, says you can send those 2 monsters to the graveyard, but then you're sitting on like nothing. Like, even if he sends Falcon, that's fine. Have a Falcon on the field. Can't really do much else to me. And then if you send like a Dragon, big deal. Like, you don't really get much. So it's really good card. It shuts down Shadows. It also is incredible against Cliff Off. Now, reason being, if Cliff Off don't have Skill Drain on board at this time, which normally you don't even have to worry about because you have Hunting Ground. So, basically, anytime I bring out a Harpie Lady, which I have tons of, I can just pop something. So, boom, see you later. Skill Drain. So yeah, that's always nifty. Anyway, so yeah, he normally comes out for free, nice and easy, and destroys. It doesn't even destroy, he just stops summoning. He's like a better version of Fossil Diner, really, in this deck. So anyway, moving on. Cyber Harpie Lady, just one generic Comes out. It's a nice beater. It's a 2000 beater with Hunting Ground, and I get a free pop. So I don't complain about that. I think it's pretty nifty. Triple Channeler, probably the heart and soul of the deck. Instant Draco Sack is always nice. I don't mind it at all. It also works really nicely with Dancer, because Dancer can normal summon itself, then target itself to return to the hand, then normal summon Channeler, and basically, okay, Maggie, I'll throw the ball. Jesus Christ. Basically, it gets you a +3 because you're popping 2 back row and you're getting a free monster. So it's nice, and also gets you Pet Dragon. So the other thing is, though, you don't even need to go for Draco Sack, or Big Eye for that matter. You can just sit on them, and if you have another card in the field, like Pet Dragon's a nice beater, so yeah, there's lots of plays. Dancer is stupid. Um, it really is, because the fact that you can just do like 2 summons per turn, pop back row with Hunting Ground, it's silly. 2 Harpie Lady 1, it's really just in there because it's another Harpie Lady. I mean, I could probably run one more Cyber Harpie, but I think this one runs better. The additional boost to win monsters is nice, but I rarely need it. But yeah, pretty generic. Just a Cyber Harpie, and these Harpies were just the generic Harpie Ladies I wanted. And the reason why I actually had them to begin with is because these are the guys that work through Skill Drain, because they're technically printed like as Harpie Lady. But I don't know if Skill Drain stops Hunting Ground that way. It wouldn't really matter. Like, I couldn't care less about Skill Drain sometimes, because I have shit like Gadgetron Dragon, so they have to go into a Pocket Off Killer, which isn't a big deal. I can get over it eventually. Anyway, moving on. Harpie Queen. It's a really underrated card in this deck. If I start with it, I'm pretty stoked, because I can just go, boom, Graveyard, Hunting Ground. I would rather send a Harpie Queen to the Graveyard to get Hunting Ground than play on the field. It's only if I already have a Hunting Ground in hand and I have a Hunting Ground on the field. It's an insta terraforming, gives me another Harpie in the grave for like Hysteric Party. It's just really nifty. And the last is Harpie's Pet Dragon. You only want to run one. You don't want to get dead drawing into these bad boys, because they're going to burn you badly. Once it's in the grave, Dijin, a Queen Dragon Dijin works beautifully with it, so there's always food for thought there. But yeah, he's pretty generic, just makes Draco Sack or Big Eye. It's your choice. Elegant Egotist is good, because basically it's, again, a chance to get Ridiculous Plus, because if there's a Harpie Lady on the field, then you just go, okay, bam, let's get a Dancer. Oh, that's right, Dancer's effect. Pop back, get Channeler. Channeler gets Pet Dragon. Make a play. It's stupid. Elegant Egotist is very strong in this deck. I only run one because it can get a bit cloggy, and the other cards I feel are just as important, so I just run the one right now. Double Lance is really good for this deck, because a lot of the time you're going to be going for pushes, and you're going to find there are cards out there that are going to wreck you. Like, this is what stops Skill Drain from being a bitch, basically. You bring out your Barrier statue, and basically then you can chain your Lance to the fusion that comes out, I'm pretty sure. You have to check on that. I think I tried doing it on Dead Pro, I'm pretty sure it worked. And so then Barrier, for that turn, gets over the fact of Skill Drain with his 200 attack, and stops the opponent from special summoning. Oh my god, Maggie, shut up. I don't care that your ball's under the couch. I'll get it after the video. Anyway, double Gear Town. Having these is actually good, because of course you can use the other effect of Gear Town if you need to. But basically these are just targets for magical hats, which is good, so I run 2 of them. Harpie's Hunting Ground. Probably the... I actually think it's one of the best cards in the deck. Against Hat, this is hilarious, because I just use Dancer and Channeler for days and just pop everything. Seriously, like, there's no backdraw to this. Like, your opponent will normally have a lot of spell or traps heavy, and this works great against Cliff Off, because basically Cliff Off can stack their hand all they want, but if they don't have the extra tool or anything, so they have like tool and then trample links and all that jazz, well, I just pop tool and trample links in the one turn with Hunting Ground if I have Dancer and another Harpie. So it's I love it. I think it seriously is so good in the current meta because so much of the current meta is all about getting rid of like spells and traps, and this basically does it all the time because it's not once per turn, it's whenever. So it's stupid. And it also works great with like Hysteric Party, and it's just another nifty way again, as I said, of getting rid of like skill drain and stuff, which can be the bane of Harpies sometimes. So I just love it. Move on, Hysteric Sign. Stupidly good card. Because it's so easy to dump. You can set one and use Hunting Ground to pop it. And it's a +3. It's an instant +3 when you're using magical hats. You can even like pop it with Icarus attack. There's just a lot of avenues, and it just gives you a lot of plays. And so that's why I think it needs to be at 3. This card also is a great bluff for your opponents to try and take out with a blind MST. If they hit this with a blind MST, it's so good. Anyway, then we got double instant fusion. Basically, this just sets up your level 4 plays. So if you want to go into like Chidori or Mavelus, like you're bringing out Mavelus, and then from there you're basically gonna just make a play. You can even just go with like another Harpie, go into Dijin, and then you can bring back your Harpie's pet dragon. Maggie, not right now, not right now, please. I'm busy. God, sorry. This she's just being really fussy because I just come back from work and I haven't really been around there most of the day. Anyway, see, Instant Fusion, good card. 1,000 life points, no big deal. Everybody's running upstarts these days, so you get your life points back anyway. Swallow's Nest. Stupid, gimmicky, amazing. The other thing that's good about Swallow's Nest is it works incredibly well with Harpie Dancer. Because Harpie Dancer can just go bam, bam, plus, and then it's like, well, Swallow's Nest, and then Hunting Ground comes into play again, because your opponent tries to negate the effect of one of your monsters. Oh, this is like Forbidden Lance, but it gets you another free monster and a free pop, and essentially just like too much free stuff. Harpies, okay. Look, I'll level with you. It's a gimmicky deck. Okay, it's not going to win you tournaments all the time, but it just catches everybody off guard. It's so good. So Swallow's Nest is a great card for catching people off guard. If I was dueling again in real life, this is the deck that I would make, because I seriously think that Harpies are so underrated, and they're such a good deck. The double breakthrough is really nifty, because again, if I've drawn into magical hats, and I've like drawn into both of my gear towns, I need another card to go with sign, or alternatively, if I've used all my signs, I need something to go with gear town. Breakthrough skill works perfectly, because I'm fine with it sitting in the grave. Because then if my opponent's sitting on like a stupid Draco sack, and I'm just like, well, you know what, I really need to get rid of that, and I need to destroy it by battle. Oh, he's got some tokens. Never fear, Breakthrough Skill is here. Let's just get rid of it. So it's a really handy card, and it just negates a lot of problems. Like, I've had matches against Midrash where I'm just sitting there like, man, I really need to make a push this turn. What can I do? Oh, that's right, Breakthrough Skill it. It's fine. And then Midrash can't do shit, and then the Shadow player just gets really mad when I go like +5 on him. But anyway, Breakthrough Skill is really handy. Again, it's another target for Magical Hat, but it's also just a really good card to draw early, because this deck is also all about just getting your opponent to go really minus really early. And what I mean by going really minus is that you're going so plus that they're getting too far behind. Like, for example, you make a big push and you somehow, Magical Hat at the end of your opponent's turn. Awesome, you get a free Gadgetron Dragon they now have to deal with. Then you have 3 more Harpie cards. And if you have Hunting Ground already out, chances are you've added Dancer, Channeler, and then just one of the Harpie ladies. Probably Harpie Queen, because then you can go Ditch Queen, get your other Hunting Ground, normal Summon Dancer, bounce Dancer, out comes Channeler, 2 free pops, and then you can also then you have an extra Hunting Ground. So it's just like, too good, seriously. Okay, Hysteric Party, basically the soul charge of the deck, just no life point cost. Your only problem is discarding 1 card, and this can actually turn out to be like an absolute godsend for you. Because basically what it does is it can drop your Harpie's pet dragon. So then when Harpie's pet dragon's in the grave, it's just Dijin to bring it back. And it's fine. because you just go down D, like bam, bam, bam. You have 5 Harpies out there, 2 are going to be level 4, bam, together into D-Shin, comes out. If you still have Channeler, bam, into Draco Sack. You see what I mean? It's stupid. And also, it's it's really hard to stop. Like, I mean, if you have Midrash, sure, but it's like Rekindling. It's just one special summon. So, I mean, that also is a downside of a Hunting Ground. It only destroys one card. The other thing is this thing is really open to like MSD plays. So, you want to try and use it when your opponent maybe isn't expecting. It just doesn't have the back row to cover it. So, like at the end of their turn, they haven't set any back row. Beautiful. Hysteric Party on that play, because if you do, there's no way they're going to be able to stop it unless they like chain the MST in their hand. And if they don't have an MST or a Dustinator or any shit like that, they're not going to be able to get rid of it. And then you've got 5 Harpies to work with. Moving on. Icarus attack. It's stupid, okay? Because basically, you can tribute your monster, which doesn't even matter. Like, this is where, honestly, this is why Cyber Harpie and these Harpies are played, because they're the ones you want to tribute. Get rid of them. Get them in the graveyard. Pop 2 cards for free. Not a big deal. I use this, also, this is like a perfect card to answer Skill Drain. You go into your Harpie, you try and activate Hunting Ground, they're like, ooh, Skill Drain, I'm going to stop you. Nah, just Icarus attack it, because then you're popping their Skill Drain, and also it works amazingly against Vanity's Emptiness. I cannot tell you how many times people have tried to screw me over in a match duel with Vanity's Emptiness, but I'm just sitting on my Icarus attack, so I can just tribute one of my monsters and pop it. It works amazingly with magical hats, though. Because they go to attack one of your other monsters, it's fine. I'll just tribute the monster that I don't need anymore, hence why I set it in defense mode, pop 2 of your cards, then during my end phase, I go +4. So how are you going? Magical hats, if you don't know, basically I'm going to Basically, I'm going to flip one of these guys into face-down defense position, then I'm going to get a Gear Town, Hysteric Sign, or Breakthrough skill, set all 3 of them face down, mix them all up so you don't know which one's which. You get to attack whichever one you want, and then at the end of the turn, the 2 spells or traps get sent to the grave. Now, here's the thing. When this gets sent to the grave, I get 3 Harpies to my hand, and when this is sent to the grave, I get a free Gazrotron Dragon to the field. So, good luck with that. This deck, I actually think, is going to surprise the meta coming up. I honestly think it is the kind of deck that you just won't be able to handle. That's just me probably being cocky, but anyway. So, extra deck. Double Mavelus, because you need it for instant fusion. Abyss Dweller, because Mermails can just not be allowed to do that stuff. And also, it actually works really well. I've found against cards like Shadows. It really is good against Shadows because it forces them to just rely on their flip effects, which aren't that strong by themselves. Currently have Castel in there. Once he comes out, I think he's a stupid card because he's like Honor Arc. Instead of stealing something though, you can just say, "Oh, that's a nice monster you have there. Be a shameful and straight back to your deck." You know, yeah, I'm just saying. Cowboy because everyone loves a win condition. Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon because that shit's just funny. I basically, if I'm just in a bind and only have 3 Harpies, and I'm like, well, you know what, I can't really make any. Oh, what the shit. Timed out due to inactivity. Yes, reload this page. God damn it. Yes, I'd like to skip the intro. Sorry about that, guys. So busy rambling here about this deck, almost taking up 20 minutes of your time, but anyway, here we go. Okay, we're back. Okay, as I was saying, Phantasmal Dragon, it's just a nice little backup card, and also it's basically a better version, I think, of Heartland Draco, because it can attack directly, and other monsters can still attack. So it's our version of Heartland Draco, which is better. Zeraphine is stupid. Like, seriously. I get this out, and I get all your effects, and then I get 300 attack for each face-up card, so I essentially become a ridiculous beater after a while, because, like, I don't know, it's applied until your opponent's next turn. So what I love about this is that I can basically lance my Zeraphine, then use its effect to stop skill drains, and then I can just bring out a Harpie and pop skill drain for free. It's nifty. I do like Zeraphine in the deck. I run 2 because there are a lot of monsters out there that are really hard to destroy sometimes, like destroyed by battle and all that jazz. I can just negate everything with Zeraphine, and it's great. It just opens so many doors for pushes. Laval Chain, pretty standard. I mean, the reason why I run one of these is because there'll be times when maybe I'm making a push to go with Hysteric Party, and so I want to drop something, or alternatively, like I've actually done sometimes where I really need to negate an effect, and so I'll literally just use it to drop a breakthrough skill to the grave, and then make a push from there. So it's a good card. I rarely use it, like rarely use it, but when I do, it always does its job. Lightning Chidori, probably the best. Oh my god, Maggie, stop it. Just stop. I'll get it in a sec. Stop complaining. Okay, Lightning Chidori, probably the best XYZ in this deck right now because of its double effect. Basically, one set card you control. So like Shadow Player, I'm gonna set a Falcon. That's fine. It's going back to your deck, to the bottom of it, and then I can target one face-up monster you control and return that to the top of your deck. So basically, in one turn, your Nephilim's back to your extra deck, and your Falcon's at the bottom of your normal deck. I'm pretty happy with that. Plus, it's just another like it's just I love it. Chidori is stupid because you can just make a lot of them, and if your opponent doesn't really have an answer to it, it just gets you again just a lot of pluses, and I love it. Draco Sack and Big Eye are just your standard two level 7s, and then Honorak. Oh god, it's so expensive, but there's a reason for it, guys. Like seriously, just free pluses for days. If I'm up against, I mean, let's face it, this deck really struggles against Shadows. It's like its only real tough matchup because, I mean, Zeraphine, yeah, can't really get over. This deck does struggle a little bit against Killer. But judging on what I've told you about the plays, if you get Hunting Ground out early, Killer doesn't even matter because you're shutting down their entire play. Anyway, Honorak's stupid because it just steals everything, which is nice. And then Dijin is actually just a great card because it just gets me a free pet dragon. And if I'm using Hysteric Party, then I also probably have a Channeler in my grave, and then I can just use Channeler to make a Dracosack or a Big Eye. So anyway, guys, that's the deck. That discussion took a lot of time, but I really wanted to get into depth. This is like one of the main decks that I'm probably going to be using. I wanted to explain kind of how I use it, and I'll do duels with it in the future once I get a better recording system. I'm going to take care of my dog who's got a ball under the couch, and then I am going to move on to some more analysis. So yeah, guys, Azuka29, signing out.